and follow the open playlist. And we can begin. So come to sit comfortably on your mat just for a second. I'd like to introduce our theme for this week, which is listening. And it's a particular type of listening that I'm concerned with and would love to focus on. And that's a listening inwards. And it's a listening with a certain degree of reverence. There's a Swahili word for that's kind of like reverence, which is called heshima, and it's reverence or respect, but without, it has an extra aspect to it, without interference or discrimination, without interference or judgment. So one can have reverence for something, if we apply the English word, and yet still seek to discriminate aspects of it, or seek to interfere or to change it. You can respect something and still want to meddle with it, for example. Whereas heshima is a type of respect, type an orientation to something that is completely without needing or wanting to discriminate or to interfere. And this is the type of listening that I think is so important for our inward conversations and in relation to ourselves, because so often when we turn the gaze inwards, and we do have time, and now we have time, some of us feel it's way too much time to engage in those deeper conversations with self and reevaluate life and where we're at and our work and our relationships and everything. Lots of time for inner observation and reevaluation. And I think that it's so common, I do this for sure, when we do that, when we turn the gaze inwards, to only to cherry pick the things that we want to hear, to block out things we don't want to hear, and to try and change the narrative, to try and mold what we're hearing and what we're seeing to an ideal picture. For some of us, it's a picture that's blocking out the negative or the uncomfortable bits. For others of us, it's amplifying the negative and blocking out the beautiful and purposeful and good bits. And that's all about our dynamics in our relationship to ourselves and how we see ourselves. So the nature of our listening indicates how well our relationships are with ourselves, how healthily we see ourselves. It's a good indicator in our self-perception and self-ideals. And so through our mat, through our practice, we are constantly sort of brought to moments where we have to listen to the body processes. Is that okay for my hip? How's the mulaband feeling? We're tuning into the body. We have a lovely flow of communication within the structure of our asana practice. And so that becomes a good training ground for the brain to begin to listen and respond healthily to the deeper emotional, mental, memory, etc. conversations with ourselves. And so over this week, we'll be thinking about and weaving into our practice ways to listen with heshima, with that respectful, non-discrimination, non-interferent reverence. So with that in mind, let's get into an extended child pose to begin. So you want to make sure that your knees are comfortably apart because we're not warmed up. And you can bring your head to the floor, forehead to the floor, looking down to the floor, hands stretched in front of you or behind. It's up to you depending on what feels most comfortable. And if you feel like the floor is far away from you when you come into your child pose, you can put your block, the block that you might be using under your head, under your forehead. So just lying here in our child pose, just taking a moment to close the eyes and to connect with the feeling of the third eye touching the mat, touching the floor beneath you. Just taking a moment to observe that sensation of the steady floor supporting the third eye, the touch contingency between skin and mat. And then I invite you to tune into your breath, observing each inhalation and exhalation as it falls. And so we want to try and listen to the rhythm of the breath without interference. So tuning into the unforced rhythm, that natural, automated rhythm of inhalation and of exhalation. And let this be the first touch point in cultivating our reverence in listening, our heshima. As we step back from the process of breath and we listen alert, watching for all the acute details of the rhythm of the breath and the sensation of breath through nostrils and skin. We want to find all the details and not shy away from any aspects of it. So it's an open-minded, open-eyed observation. And yet we seek not to interfere. We seek only to observe. And through this observation, this listening, we give ourselves time to work through, to release all the thoughts, ideas, concerns that run through our minds. And moreover, when we step back and watch with reverence, the thoughts no longer have power over us. We are watching them impartially. We are not taken up in the drama of the thinking. And invite you now to start to lengthen your breath here, still in your child pose. Maybe you want to stretch a bit more deeply into your fingertips as you reach your arms forward along your mat. And start to lengthen through the breath. And I invite you, as you breathe in deeply through the nostrils, to take a moment to pause at the top of the inhalation and pause at the bottom of the exhalation. It need only be about a second, just a pause. And in those moments of complete stillness of breath, I invite you to observe the stillness that emanates through mind and body along with the breath. So tune into that pause. And sometimes the conversations with ourselves are not linguistic. So in these moments of pause, in these moments of silence, we're not seeking stories or answers in our language of choice. We're listening more deeply. What other ways does our body and our heart and our minds communicate with us? What other messages lie in this pause and in ourselves at this time on our mats? I invite you to flow through another 3 cycles of breath in your own time. Coming through your last full deep cycle of breath. Exhale. And then as you inhale, start to lift the head up, coming into a Virasana seat, the knees together. If this is uncomfortable for you, please Bring your feet in front of you in the normal sitting pose. And I invite you here, hands in the lap, to just do a few cycles of stretching into the neck. So I went to the right first, exhaling as I went down, inhaling as you come up on the other side. And I invite you to make 3 lovely full long rotations in each direction. Quite easy to forget to warm up the neck in our practice. We're going to work into the shoulders a little bit today, so it's nice to begin with opening the neck. And when you've done 3 rotations in each direction, bringing the neck back to neutral, inhaling to reach arms out on either side of the body, palms facing forwards, reaching into the fingertips as you take a moment to roll the pelvic floor under, sucking the belly button in and straightening out your lumbar spine. On your next exhalation, bringing your arms forward and making the right arm the dominant arm, wrap the left around, finding your Garudasana arms, palm against palm or back of hand against back of hand, and then lift the elbows up and away from your chest and dome into the upper back. You can also look down towards your belly button as you do that. Lovely way to open up the shoulders. And we'll just take around 5 cycles of breath here. Keep pressing your hands against each other as you lift the elbows up. Maybe feeling a nice stretch over the back of the neck here as you look down. Really pressing into the rhomboids, the muscles and tendons that connect your shoulder blades. And flowing through your last full breath here. And then inhale to open out. Reaching into fingertips, and this time pressing the heel of the hand away as you make a full palm, pressing out to either side. And rounding into the lower back there a little bit to straighten through the lower back. Another full breath, inhale. On the exhalation, let's find our Garudasana arms with the left arm as the strong one, right arm to wrap around. Same process as you press the arms against each other, lift the elbows up, and then round into the upper back, looking down to belly button. And we're flowing through those 5 breaths. And keep the activation through the arms, and indeed can keep the activation through the mulaband, through your core. You might want to even press the thighs together, engage the glutes, and lift your hips ever so slightly off the seat, off your heels, off your calves. So you can really make the body fully engaged here. Last full cycle of breath. And then exhale to release. Bringing your hands forward, placing them underneath your shoulders. We're going to do thread the needle here with a few variations. So lifting up with your right arm, reaching up towards the ceiling, opening your chest towards the right side. Make sure from this point that you're equalizing your hips and pressing both knees evenly onto the floor. Exhale to sweep under. Let the right shoulder and hand hover. Inhale to lift up. We'll do that 2 more times. Exhale, hover. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to hover, and then place your shoulder, should I say, to the floor. Now you can keep your right hand here because, first reach your left hand forwards in front of you, stretching deeply into that left arm and into the right arm, top of the hand facing down onto the floor. Equalize your hips, so feel that you're pressing your hips backwards evenly. Let's take a last full breath here. And then on the exhalation, bring your left hand in front of your face and press your fingers, spreading your fingers into the floor. Tuck your right toes under and then inhale to kick backwards. If you find that this is not working for your balance, then stay in the first option that we had. So you're elevating through that left leg, and I invite you to kick into the ball of that left foot and keep pressing onto the top part of your right arm. On your next exhalation, keeping that whole of the left leg activated, swing it forwards to find your right hand. Inhale to kick back. We'll do 3 of those. Exhale, try and make the movement nice and smooth. Inhale. And we'll do our 3rd one, exhale. Inhale to kick back. Exhale to lower. And then pressing left hand to floor. Inhale to lift right arm up. Exhale to lower. Equalizing again in the center of the mat, and then inhale to lift up with the left arm. 3 of those hovers. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower and hover. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, hover, and then placing left shoulder and side of the head onto the mat. First, pressing your hips back evenly and reaching through the right fingertips. Getting a lovely full stretch over the right side body, as well as deeply into the left shoulder. Last breath here, inhale. As you exhale, bringing your right hand in front of your face, tucking left toes underneath, and then inhale to kick back with your right leg. Engage through the right leg and inner line of the right leg, ball of the foot. Pressing the top of the left hand into the floor. On your next exhalation, start to sweep that leg forward to kiss the left fingertips. Inhale to sweep back. Exhale out to the side, keeping it nice and high and then lowering it down. Returning on the inhalation. Let's do the 3rd and last one. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg comes to the floor, pressing right hand into the floor. Inhale to lift up. And exhale, hands underneath shoulders. From here, we're going to repeat that movement, starting with the left leg. So repeat the movement, but slightly differently. So kick out with your left leg behind you in a nice straight line. I invite you to engage a horseshoe shape in the scapula and upper arms. So you want to press into the shoulders, into the scapula. So you want to dome them up slightly. And then you want to find an external rotation in your upper arms. So you're opening them out away from you slightly. And then you want to press your fingers and the full extent of your hands into the floor. So that's very important for what we're going to do now with the legs. So you want to keep that support in the horseshoe shape. And then on your next exhalation, you're going to bring the leg out towards the side. Try and keep it nice and high as you kick it out towards the side. And inhale and back. So you want to try and keep it on the same plane, the same height. And inhale. Sorry, exhale. Inhale and back. And you bring it as far forward as comfortable for you. 3rd time. On the inhalation, drawing it forward and really squeezing into the left side body and back. And then making a 90-degree angle bend in that leg. And on your next inhalation, drawing left knee into nose, jaguar. Take 2 breaths, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, kick back, find the right angle again in the knee. This time pressing left hand into the floor only and lifting up your right arm to meet your left foot, kicking your left foot into the right hand as you open up your chest and achieve a nice stretch and bend in the front of the body. Make sure the left toes are still active. This is also a nice stretch in the front part of the right shoulder. So feel the chest opening. And then exhale to release the left leg, keep it elevated. Last iteration here in this movement as you bring your right hand to the floor, finding your balance to lift up your left arm. So it's kind of like an elevated Parigasana or a variation of Parigasana. Inhale to reach left arm overhead, and then exhale to bring left knee to left elbow. Inhale to straighten out. Exhale, there's 3 of these. Inhale to straighten out, and exhale, pulse in. Inhale to straighten out. Exhale to face the floor, releasing your left leg. And then we can flow through 5 full breaths of our cat-cow before we do the other side. So you know the drill. Inhale to arch, exhale to round. So you just want to flow through in your time with your full lovely cycle of breath. Maybe finding a pause at the top of each inhalation and exhalation, even here. Last cycle of breath. And returning the spine to neutral. Stacking the joints up again, and then reaching your right leg back in a nice straight line. Engage the horseshoe shape in the arms, as explained before, external rotation in the upper arms, and pressing the rhomboids and scapula a little bit up towards the ceiling. Press your hands into the floor. On your next inhalation, you want to kick into the right leg, drawing it out and as far forward as you can. Exhale to the back. Inhale, press your hands into the floor. Try to not bend into your elbows. And back. And last exhalation, forwards. And back. Bending into the knee then, keeping the right angle. And when on your next inhalation, drawing knee into nose, 2 breaths. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, kick the right leg up again. Find your right angle. Press your right hand into the floor. Reach left back for the right foot. And when you're ready, using the inhalation, kick into your hand. Engaging through the toes, making the chest vulnerable to the floor. Continue to press away with your right hand. And try not to let the bum kind of press and sway out to the left side. Try and keep yourself in the center line of the body. And then exhale to release, bringing your left hand to the floor, kicking the right leg out, and inhale to lift up with the right hand. Find your balance here. So the more strongly you kick out with the right leg, the better. And you can even just draw the right leg in towards the right side of the mat slightly, and that will also help you balance. Reaching overhead. On your next exhalation, elbow to knee. Inhale to kick back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to kick back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to kick back. Closing the body to the floor. Knees under hips. And from here, you can slide the bum backwards. And then inhale to dome up into the spine. Exhale to open the chest forward. 8 limb pose. Sliding forwards. Inhale, low cobra, rolling shoulders back, elbows in. Push the floor away. Exhale, bum to heels. Inhale, round into the spine. Look into the belly button, really round as much as you can. Exhale, 8 limb pose, sliding forwards. Inhale, rolling shoulders back, low cobra. Press the floor away. Exhale. Inhale, we'll do a few more of those. Let's try and make it nice and fluid, like a wave in the spine. Exhale, 8 limb, sliding forwards. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, bum back, tuck the toes under. Inhale, look into the belly. Wave forward like a continuous wave of energy through the body, making the spine nice and warm and supple. Exhale, back. Inhale. We're going to do 3 more of these. Exhale. Sliding forwards. Inhale. Press the floor away. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, low cobra. Press the floor away. Exhale, and this will be our last one now. Inhale. Exhale. Roll the shoulders back. Press the floor away. Exhale, and then inhale to come up into your first down dog. You can pedal here with your feet as is normal in your practice and as feels good for you. Maybe opening into the hips as well. Just going through the motions as feels right and good for you. Keep the breathing full and dynamic. And then when you're ready, come to still the body. Bring the body to stillness, should I say. And start to press your hands more deeply into the mat as the energy moves down in towards the earth and away from the shoulders. You soften into the back of the neck and the head and find the internal rotation of the arms. And tilt through the hips, elevating through the back of the hips, pressing through the back of the knees, lengthening through the spine. Last breath here, inhale, exhale. On your next inhalation, lifting up with your right leg only, coming into 3-legged dog with your right leg lifted. Another 2 breaths here as you engage the inner line of the right leg. Exhale, inhale, exhale. On your next inhalation, bending into your right knee, hugging it in towards your heart, moving like a spoon through honey, nice and fluidly and slowly, bringing your right foot forward, lowering into your left knee and your left foot, and inhale to come up into your Anjanasana. Make the chest open, the hips soft and vulnerable. Feel the weight moving forwards into the sole of the right foot. And if it helps, open the elbows out slightly, even bend into the elbows if your shoulders are very stiff, making almost like a diamond shape with the upper arms. As you soften into the hips, make sure that your left glute is still engaged. And you can make the gaze facing forwards. You don't need to strain to look upwards. Let's take another full cycle of breath here. And then inhale to lift up with your right arm and exhale to draw the right arm back to the left leg. So you kind of want to make a crescent shape with the body and you reach back as far as you can. So if the right hand doesn't meet the back of the left leg, that doesn't matter. But you're doing that kind of easy twisting and stretching and opening motion to reach back. Last breath here, inhale. And then exhale, wheeling the hands forward, pressing your hands into the mat, stepping back into your plank. Pause here for a full breath, inhale. On your next exhalation, finding your chaturanga, if it's in your practice, or flowing through knees, chest, chin, and low cobra, if that's where you're at today. Finding your way up to the up dog or low cobra, and then we can all pike through the hips and find our way back to down dog. Another full breath here, inhale, and exhale. On the inhalation, lifting up your left leg, elevating through the left leg, engaging through the inner line of the left leg as well, equalizing the weight over both hands. Exhale. On the next inhalation, bending into the left knee and weaving your way forward, moving like water or honey in a liquid fashion. Placing your left foot to the floor, releasing through the right knee and leg, and when you're ready, bring in the arms up. So we stayed here for 5 breaths on the one side. So let's apply the same treatment, softening into the hips, softening into the shoulders, finding that the glute strength on the right side is still activated, finding the weight is moving forward into the left foot. On your next inhalation, reaching up with the right hand and reaching back with the left. So coming into that crescent moon shape as you also engage in a bit of a twist. So it's quite a back bend, but don't despair if your left hand doesn't reach the right leg. You're still creating the same benefit in the body by reaching. Last full breath here, inhale. On the exhalation, wheeling the hands forwards, pressing the floor away, finding your way to plank. When you're ready, Vinyasa, or your 8-limb pose and low cobra. And we pike through the down dog. We all meet back in down dog. Full breath here, inhale. Exhale. On the next inhalation, look to your hands, and as you exhale, lower each elbow one at a time onto the mat, coming into your dolphin. If you needed to go into your knees to do that, that's also fine. Spread the fingers and just check that your elbows aren't wider than your shoulders here. Really engage through the fingertips into the floor and soften through the back of the neck as you try to bring the head back on the inside of the biceps. Really try to tilt through the hips. If you have the range in your hamstrings, walk your feet closer towards your head. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale, looking forward to your hands and stepping your feet back, coming into the dolphin plank, squeezing between your thighs to better distribute the weight, and then exhale to lower your hips, and inhale to reach your arms out nice and widely, horizontal line, palms to the floor, and on your next inhalation, lifting up your right leg, looking to the left, and bringing like a scorpion tail in your leg over towards the left hand. I'm not going to fully put my cheek down on the floor. I might muffle the microphone, but you want to put your right cheek to the floor and press both of your shoulders onto the mat. Keep reaching into your fingertips. Another 2 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Return to the center. Let's do the other leg on the next inhalation, lifting up your left leg and bring the left foot over towards the right hand. Same thing, you're going to look towards the right and bring your left cheek to the floor. Really reach into the fingertips. Try and cover, should I say not cover, try to close any gap over the inner part of the arms and the chest to the floor. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Returning to the center, placing your hands under the shoulders, tucking your toes underneath, either working through your knees or in one fluid movement. We all find our way back to down dog. Back in down dog. 1 breath here, inhale and exhale. On the next inhalation, right leg, 3-legged dog. Really flointing into your toes, into the bottom of the foot, closing right hip slightly so your hips are parallel to the floor. On your next inhalation, bending into your right knee as you hug your knee in towards your heart, moving fluidly to bring right foot to the floor. Lower left knee and left foot to the floor. Inhale to come up into your Anjaneyasana. We're taking 1 breath here, inhale. and exhale. Inhale. On the exhalation, sweeping the hands down, bringing them to your hips, and now really engaging into your left glute. So you can even like punch your glute to check that you are. So you really don't want a lazy glute here. Make sure your back foot is on the mat so it doesn't slip, and engage into that glute. And then pressing the top of your left foot into the floor, lift up. So this is much more of a cardiovascular workout in comparison to a normal lunge. And you really want that back leg and glute to be super strong to hold you in your elevation. You can lift your arms up into a cactus arm, so elbows in a line with shoulders, fingers spread. Last breath here, inhale. On the exhalation, keep that left leg where it is and bring your left hand to the floor, easy side angle with that variation in our leg. So pressing into the top of the left foot and really feeling an intense stretch over the front of the ankle. And this is also working more deeply into the core. Last breath here, inhale. On the exhalation, wheeling that hand forwards and then keeping that foot where it is if you can. If you need to come onto your toes, that's fine. Step back with your right leg and come into a variation of the plank. So engage, again, you really need to engage more through your inner thighs, through the base of the body, and make sure the glutes are engaged. Exhale, find your vinyasa. With the legs like that, you're ready to wiggle your feet forward for the up dog. And then we roll the toes over, down dog. One breath here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, left leg, three-legged dog. Firing up the inner line of the left leg, squaring the hips. On your next inhalation, left knee to nose, doming in the chest, moving with care, bringing left foot to floor, releasing into right. Inhale to lift up, one breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, hands to hips, and then check that the right glute is just as engaged, hands on hips, and press into the top of the right foot to lift up into that variation of the high lunge, and find your cactus arms. Another 2 breaths. Inhale. On the exhalation, right hand comes to the floor on the inside of the left. Check that you still have the toes tucked under and come into the easy revolved side angle. Begin squeezing between the thighs as you are here already. So we need it in particular for our chaturanga. Coming up. And exhale to wheel that hand forwards, pressing the top of the right foot to the floor. Find both of the top of the feet to the floor. Yes, I said feet. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, sliding forward slightly to find your up dog and piking through the down dog. One full breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, come into your dolphin. One elbow at a time, spreading the fingers, checking the elbows on moving away from each other. Tilt through the hips and maybe walk your feet forwards towards your hands. Another full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to look forward to your hands, coming into the dolphin plank. 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale to lower the body. Open the arms out nice and wide horizontally. We'll find that same scorpion variation in the legs with an addition. Inhale to lift up the right. Exhale. Look to the left, right cheek to the floor. One breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to come back to the center and reach back with your right hand on the right foot, reaching your left arm forward. When you're ready on your next inhalation, you're going to kick it into the right leg and come into your half bow. Keep kicking into the top, into the back of that hand, the right hand. Exhale to release. Let's find the horizontal arms once again. Left leg comes up and over. Looking towards the left, towards the right hand, left cheek to the floor. Inhale back to the center, left hand to left foot, right arm forward. When you're ready, use the inhalation to elevate through the legs, through the hands. Try and soften your jaw and face here. Let the glutes and lumbar spine do the work, as well as full activation through legs. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Lowering down, pressing hands underneath shoulders. I'm going to wiggle a little bit forward, a bit far back on my mat. When you're ready, 2 movements or 1, back to down dog. Full breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale, kick up through the right leg, 3-legged dog. Really opening into the hips and the hamstrings here with our 3-legged dogs. On your next inhalation, knee into nose, moving like honey. Foot between hands, softening left foot and left knee, Vinyasa. 1 breath here, exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the hips, firing up that left glute, and we'll find our variation on the the high lunge. So pressing into the top of the left foot and coming into cactus arms. 1 more full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale. On the exhalation, left hand on the floor, on the inside of the right foot, that variation in the easy revolve side angle. Left knee remains super strong here. Exhale. Inhale. On the exhalation, I invite you to press into the floor with the left foot enough to kick it up and under, finding your toes underneath, and then close the left heel and wheel your way up into warrior 2. Beautiful. So lowering down into your warrior 2 here, finding the correct alignment in that front knee. Engage into the right glute now as you draw the right knee and hip inwards, so not sagging out towards the right side. Your right hand is facing up towards the ceiling. On your next inhalation, we're going to begin a windmill pulse with the breath. So coming into our reverse warrior, maybe not placing your hand on the back leg, maybe keeping everything in towards the torso, and then exhale, easy side angle, also hand to belly as you reach overhead. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Last one to the front. Exhale. Inhale, last one to the back. Keep your arms where they are, and then start to bend into your left leg and lower your left elbow on the inside of the left leg. And now you're in a variation of a high skandasana or skater pose at the back of the mat. And you want to press and draw your left elbow in on the inside of that left knee. Keep reaching actively through the right arm. Keep pressing into that leg. Try and get a little bit lower. And then sweep the arm forward and wheel your way to the front of the mat. Pressing both hands to the floor, step back, plank. Find your vinyasa. Go into a child pose whenever you need it. Find your up dog. And piking through the down dog. Full breath, exhale. On your next inhalation, left leg up into your three-legged dog. Exhale. On your inhalation, bending left knee in towards chest, transferring it forward, doming into the upper back, softening into right knee, right foot, and Vinyasa, one breath, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, hands on hips, firing up that right glute, readying yourself to press in the top of the right leg, and lifting up with the cactus arms into our variation here. Keep pressing actively into the right patella. Last breath here, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Right hand to the floor, left arm up, right leg still engaged, right glute still engaged. Inhale, exhale. On the next inhalation, flicking the toes under and then drawing the right heel inwards as you come up into your warrior two with the left palms facing upwards. Just take a second to find your alignment. You're a little bit skew. Maybe roll the shoulders back, taking pressure and strain off the shoulders and the chest. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation, that windmill with the core engagement, and exhale, windmill forward, making those nice circular shapes with arms. Inhale and back, exhale and forwards. Inhale and back. Try to keep the alignment of the legs as much as you can. And back, this will be our last one. Exhale and forwards. Inhale and back. And then bend into the right leg as you bring the right shoulder and elbow on the inside of the right leg and come into this variation of the Skandasana. So you really want to bring the right knee on the outside of the right shoulder, dipping in deeply into the right hip. Keep the left knee nice and straight. Last breath here, inhale. And then exhale. Sweep your way forwards. Press hands into the mat. Step back to plank. Vinyasa or child pose, or even just down dog. Inhale, up dog. And we all meet in our downward facing dog. Full breath here, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, look to your hands. Exhale, bring your elbows to the mat. This is your dolphin. Walk your feet forwards again. Find that softness in the neck and the head as you really elevate through the hips. So you want as much space in the shoulders for your neck to be long and the head to bob back, even behind the upper arms. And start to fire up the inner line of both legs. When you're ready, inhale, look forwards and step back into your plank. 3 breaths. Exhale to lower, sweeping the hands back away from the shoulders, lifting the knees up, bringing your chin to the floor and reaching back to your feet. If you had a strap, as I suggested at the beginning, for those with stiff legs, then now you can reach for your strap and hook it around your feet if you can't quite reach them comfortably. Everybody bring your knees together, chin to the floor, and exhale, release all air from the body. Inhale, start to kick back with the legs first, and then softly bringing the head and the shoulders up, finding your bow. Make sure that you aren't splaying the knees outwards too much. Now you have an option. You can either stay here as you are, or you can make right angles with your ankles. So pressing your toes towards your shins, and then press your knees, make your knees heavy and press them back onto the mat as you stretch more deeply through the chest. So stiff shoulders means stiff chest muscles for sure. And so this is a nice way to open them out. So some more engagement through the glutes and the hamstrings. When you're ready, exhale to release. And everybody can bring your hands forwards, crocodile. Moment to pause here, heels go outwards, toes inwards, and place your cheek on either side. 5 full breaths. And find a pause at the top and the bottom of each cycle. Let's actually make it 10 breaths. Just close your eyes and listen to your body. Feel the beating heart and the exertion of our practice. And tune in to the sensations, good and bad. Sensations you want and the ones you don't want. Listen without interference, with respect. This is a process. All aspects of it as necessary as another. Flowing through your last cycle of breath here. And on your next inhalation, stretch your arms forward, right into your fingertips, right into your toes, head face down into mat. And reach as though this is actually a nice practice for strength in your handstand. So you just want to make the body as long as possible and bring your legs and your hands in nice and close as you reach through the body. Looking in towards the floor, so lengthening the back of the neck. Last breath, inhale, exhale. Slide your hands under the shoulders, tucking the toes under. Inhale, let's find our way back to down dog. And exhale. Inhale, right leg back and behind you. Squaring the hips off to the floor, engaging through the foot and the inner line of the leg. Inhale, bringing knee in towards nose, rounding and doming into the spine. Right foot between hands, left knee, left foot relaxed. Inhale, Anjanasana, 1 breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands on hips, engaging into the top of that left foot, left glute. Inhale when you're ready, lifting up into this variation of a high lunge, cactus arms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, left hand to the floor, foot stays exactly where it is, right arm lifts up, left knee super strong. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. On your next inhalation, flipping that left toe underneath, hooking the left foot and coming up into warrior 2, right arm faced upwards, exhale, inhale, exhale. On the next inhalation, let's do our windmill. So first humble warrior and exhale forwards. Inhale, humble. Sorry, not humble, reverse. And exhale forward. This will be the last one. Reverse and forwards. And find your reverse. And then that variation on the Skandasana. Left shoulder on the inside of the left leg, right leg strong and straight, reaching into the right arm. Exhale. On your next inhalation, wheeling the body forward, finding your way to the front of the mat, and then softening into your hips as you open the chest. Inhale. Exhale, dome in, knee to nose. Inhale, soften and open. Exhale, dome in. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, soften and open. Exhale to dome in. Inhale, soften and open. Exhale, down in. Inhale to bring your right arm on the inside of that right knee. Now we have a few options depending where you are in your practice. Option one is to work on flexibility in just drawing the right arm down on the inside of the right leg. That's option one. So you're using the exhalation, moving that shoulder down towards the inner line of the leg. Option two is you're close to that inner part of your right leg and you're able to bring both hands on the floor underneath your shoulders. And then you're inhaling and bringing the weight forward, starting to feel a lightness in that front right foot. So that's option two. So we're setting up for Vinyasa B. So that's option two, when you're just playing with lightness in that front right foot. Option three, if Vinyasa B is in your practice, as you come forward, you're going to inhale and stretch and kick out into the right leg as you lift up the left. And then lowering your left leg, stepping back. We all step back to down dog. Inhale, left foot comes underneath your body. Step it forwards about 1 meter in front of the right. Hook your right foot behind at a 45-degree angle and then straighten up into your pyramid pose. Exhale to soften over. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to soften down. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to soften down. Inhale to lift and lengthen. And exhale to lower your left knee to the floor, your right knee to the floor, stretching your left leg out in front of you. And here you can come into your full Hanumasana, your splits, or you're just practicing with them. So at one stage, you might be kind of like this, and you have your back knee bent, and you're slowly, with each exhalation, coaxing that left leg forward, trying to make the chest open and vulnerable, maybe pressing up into the fingertips. Also, if you have blocks or books around you, you can place your hands on blocks or books. Then if it's in your practice and you're sliding forward, you can come into your full Hanumasana. And then you want to just take a moment to find your alignment. So wherever we are, we're either working towards this or we're in it. And just taking a few deep breaths. If you're in your full Hanumasana and you want to reach your arms up alongside the ears, that's the third and final option. We've got 2 more breaths in this pose, wherever you are. Inhale and exhale, lowering the arms to the floor. Tucking your right toe under the floor behind you and lifting up your left leg and drawing it underneath your body, bending into the left knee. You might need to do that in 2 or 3 movements, using your right knee on the floor for support. And if you do, then that's fine. And then bringing the left knee onto the floor, setting up for a half pigeon. So if your left hip is high off the mat, you want to place a cushion underneath that left hip. So you want to have some support for it and not be falling out to the left side. And then soften into the right foot. Take a deep breath up in to lengthen, and then exhale to fold forwards, reaching the hands forwards or placing them under your forehead. Closing in and listening. And tuning into the language of the body, which may not be linguistic, and indeed it might not be what we always want to hear. It is not the purpose of Hishima, of listening with Hishima. Inhale to lift your head up, pressing the floor away, and engaging into the right glute. As we've been doing in our practice, we're pressing into the top of the right foot. So that same sensation and pressing into the top and outer part of the legs, You're going to lift your hips up ever so slightly. So you want to feel some elevation as you also press into the outer part of the left shin and the left foot. And then lift your arms up and come into a nice crescent shape back bend. You can look up towards the ceiling, and the right glute and foot remains fully active. Last full breath here. Going deeply into the back bend, or as far as is comfortable to you. And then exhale, hands to the mat, tucking right toes under, stepping back, down. Full breath here, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left leg, three-legged dog. Engaging into the left foot in the line of left leg. When you're ready, inhale, knee to nose. Soft transition forwards, right knee to floor, right foot to floor. Inhale to come up, Anjanasana. One breath, inhale. Exhale, hands on hips, engaging into the top of the right foot. Inhale, lifting up into this variation. Make sure right glute is engaged. Cactus arms, one breath. This is the last side of our vinyasa. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Left arm goes up, right knee says stay strong. Full breath, inhale. Exhale, inhale. On the exhalation, ready yourself using the inhalation, tucking the toes under, right heel behind you. Wheeling up into warrior two, left palm facing upwards. One breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale and windmilling back, reverse. Inhaling, windmilling forwards. Exhale. And forwards. Inhale. Last one forwards. Last one backwards. Bending into the right knee, straightening into the left knee, coming into the variation of our Skandasana. Full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, sweeping forwards, hands on either side of that left foot, softening into the hips or opening the chest. And then exhale, doming in, knee to nose. Inhale to soften. Exhale to dome. Inhale to soften. Exhale to dome. Inhale to soften. Exhale to dome. Last one, inhale to soften and exhale to dome. And then sweeping the left arm underneath and finding your edge here for our Vinyasa B. So either practicing on lowering the left shoulder, or if you already have that, hands under your shoulders, fingers are spread and your elbows are in. So we really worked with that horseshoe shape and the engagement in the scapula and the upper arm. So you want to find that again as you draw, find that inward rotation, drawing the elbows in, pressing hands into the floor, and then lifting up the leg and lowering forward into your Vinyasa. Legs are super strong. And then stepping back, right foot, left foot. Everybody finding your way, maybe you working through your knees to get there. Down dog, one breath, inhale, exhale. Inhale, right foot comes forward, about 1 meter in front of the left. Left heel hooks back, and you walk your hands back on either side of that right foot. Pyramid pose. Lift and lengthen through the spine and draw your right hip back and left hip forward slightly as you engage between the thighs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Inhale, bringing that right foot forwards, making some space for your left foot to come, left knee to come onto the floor. And here we're working towards a Hanumasana. So either you're staying where you are, some space between the hips and the floor, and that's where you are today, and that's fine. You're steadying yourself with your hands on either side of the leg and slowly working the right leg forward, keeping your control and using the power of the exhalation to melt down towards the mat. So in our exhalation, we can go more deeply into postures. Inhalation, we find that strength, the stability, the fortitude. If you found your way to your full Hanumasana, make sure that the front right foot is engaged, toes towards the face, and maybe for the last 2 breaths, reaching arms up alongside your head. Last full breath, inhale, and exhale, bringing your hands down onto the mat, tucking your left toes underneath wherever you are, and then inhale to lift up your right leg, enough to bend into the right knee and bring it forward to set up for the half pigeon. Again, use your knees for a transition into this pose if you need to. Soften into the right foot, and once you have protected the right hip with a cushion or something soft, then fold forwards. Closing your eyes and tuning in to the rhythm of your breath. And tuning into the language of your body. Often it's so easy for us to give our friends and our loved ones and other people the respectful listening, the reverent listening when they need to tell us stuff and offload. We hold space for them and we don't judge. Often it feels much harder to give this gift to ourselves. What aspects of your body and mind and heart's language are you blocking out? What are you trying not to hear and listen to? How can you cultivate better practices in listening? When you inhale, lift your head up, press your hands into the floor enough to kind of sit up and press the top of the left foot and left knee into the floor, coming onto the front and outer part of the right shin and right foot. So you're lifting up a little bit here, left glute engaged. Inhale to lift the arms up and find your crescent shape again. It's quite nice to engage through the hands, so interlocking the fingers, pressing the forefingers back as you come into your crescent moon. And really lead through the solar plexus, press the chest forward. The last full breath here, maybe making the head soft, looking up towards the ceiling if that's in your practice. And then exhale, hands forwards. Tucking your left toes underneath, press into the floor, step back to down dog. Full breath here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, look forward to your hands. Exhale, bringing your elbows onto the mat, finding your dolphin balance. Let's stay here for another 2 breaths, softening into the neck and engaging into the elbows. Make sure they aren't splaying outwards. Stepping back into your plank. Last breath here. And then inhale to step forwards again. Exhale, come onto your knees. From here, we're going to kick up into the forearm balance. or we're going to practice doing that. So if you want to, you can take your mat against top of your mat against a wall in your living room now if you're afraid of falling over and you want that support. Otherwise, we can continue to practice in the middle of the room. If you are somebody who maybe doesn't have a great deal of control in your hands and in the shape that, as we were doing those dolphins, if you felt like your elbows were sliding out a lot, the trick now is to take the book or block, so I'll demonstrate with this, that I mentioned at the start of our session, and place that between your forefinger and your thumb. Woo! Other way, so the book doesn't open out, between your forefinger and thumb, like that. And then place it on the mat. And have your hands close to the wall, obviously, if that's what you're using. And then you're going to spread your fingers and press forefinger and thumb into that block or book, lifting up into your dolphin. If you don't want to go fully up into the forearm stand, you can still donkey kick with me. So lifting up the right leg. And you want to just start to feel some lightness in that left leg as the right glute and right foot becomes super strong. And I like to use an exhalation to come up. So it's inhale and exhale. Pressing into hands. So, and finding your balance. Stronger the fingers, the better. Elbows stay strong. Shoulders elevated away from the floor. Find your line. And then come down. So we're going to practice that right leg and then left leg. Everybody's going to be doing this slightly differently. Make sure the amount of time, donkey kicks, tries you do on the right side, you do on the left side. If it's in your practice and you're holding it, that's lovely. Try and equalize the length of time holding it. And try and straighten your pincha mayurasana, it's called, is the pose. You want to try and straighten your pincha tail out. So it takes a lot more strength to have your body straight. And for that, you want to draw belly into spine. You want to close rib cage inwards, so you don't want to arch through the lower back, and squeeze between the thighs. So let's just try with the left leg. And obviously, if this is not your jam, your jazz, then you can go into child pose or flow through some cat-cows, and we'll join you there soon. Trying with your left leg, finding some lightness, finding your balance, using an exhalation to power up. Finding your hold, maybe not, pressing into the fingertips. Squeezing between the thighs, finding the line. And find your way down when you're ready. So maybe playing with that to make sure that you've equalized the sides. And when you're ready, we can all find our way now into an extended child pose. And if you've been in the extended child pose and you want to open more deeply into the shoulders, or maybe you're just arriving here, but you want to go more deeply, the second option is to go into a heart opener, the Anahatasana. So make sure knees are under hips as you press your hips backwards and melt through the heart. Bring your chin to the floor or forehead, up to you. And drive the hips and bum backwards. Staying here for another 3 rounds of breath. When you're ready, pressing your fingers, doming through the shoulders, coming up and out of the pose, and walking your knees forwards Mirror towards the front of your mat, bringing your bum between your feet. And we're going to go back into a Supta Baddha Virasana. If you've had previous knee injuries or your knees are just simply stiff, the alternative for this is Supta Baddha Konasana, which is to have your soles of the feet together, knees splaying outwards, and then you're going to lie back with us. So this is the option for those of you with stiff and sore knees. You can place cushions or blocks underneath your outer thighs. For everybody else, feet go back, bum between feet, and you come back onto your elbows. Remember, you can always hang out here, for example. If you know you can't go fully back, you can soften your neck and stay here. Or for those of you that are going to go down, flatten onto the floor and frame your face, holding on to each elbow. Press your knees together and feel that natural arch in the spine. Press your bum into the floor and make the breathing really nice and full and rhythmical. And starting to connect with a pause at the top and bottom of each cycle of breath. And then when you're ready, pressing your left foot, top of the foot into the floor, releasing your hands so you have some balance, keeping your hands near you for balance, and start to lift up your right knee, sweeping the right foot from underneath you. Make sure that you tuck the left foot in nice and close so your knee doesn't splay outwards too much. And then you're going to inhale and lift up with the right leg. Now you won't be able to straighten it up nearly as much as you would in a normal position like this with the left leg straight. So you're going to straighten as much as you can and come to bring your hands behind that right thigh. If the leg eludes you here completely, then you grab that strap or t-shirt, whatever, kitchen towel or whatever it is that you're using, and strap that around your right thigh. Or the right toes, also an option. And in that case, you'll be working more intensely into your right calf. Keep pressing your left knee inwards and downwards. Last breath here. And then exhale to bend into the left knee now, coming into a figure of four shape, bringing your left outer ankle over the top of the right knee and making bringing your right outer ankle on top of your left knee and coming into the figure of four shape with the left leg, making the left knee super heavy as you draw it down towards the floor. And now you can bring your arms up above your head once again, hands on elbows. Last breath here. And then inhale to lift up that right leg. And let's take it back underneath you. So you're going to bring your weight to the left a little bit, so you have that space, and you're going to use your right hand to help the right leg tuck underneath. And then you're going to have to wiggle around a little bit to get it back comfortably under the body. If that wasn't an option, you can come out and re-enter, of course. Right leg close in towards right hip so that the knee isn't splaying outwards, and then releasing the left leg. Just equalizing your hips a little bit, pressing right knee close into the floor, and then lifting up your left leg, interlocking fingers around the back of the left thigh or using a strap over the toes. And you can really soften into the shoulders here. You press the shoulders into the mat and lengthen over the back of the shoulders and sides of the upper arms. Maybe rotating into your ankle, lifted leg. Coming into your last breath here. And bending into the left knee, finding the figure of four shape with the left leg, left outer ankle on top of right knee. And you'll feel the differences. Left side is my super stiff hip side, so the knee is not as far down as the right side, and that's fine. Observing the beautiful idiosyncrasies and inconsistencies of the body, just being present with them as you find that heaviness now in the left knee. Maybe bringing hands up above your head, hands onto the elbows. And then when you're ready, releasing the left foot, bringing your foot to the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, and sliding the right leg out from underneath you. Both feet hip width apart. If you were in your Supta Baddha Konasana, release from the pose, bring both feet to the floor. We all meet here. Feet are hip width apart. This will be our last pose of our session. And we're going to do a very slow lift and recline into bridge. So it's going to be dynamic with the breath, but a very slow movement, tuning into that full rhythm of breath and movement of your spine and body. So inhale to start to round into the spine, feeling each vertebra. We're all going to go at a slightly different pace, and that's fine. Coming to a straight line, and then exhale and slowly roll down vertebra by vertebra, truly tuning in to your spine and the contingency of spine and mat. Rolling up, inhale, so you want it to be a rolling movement, so no stops or pauses. The moment you reach the top of the breath, you exhale and start to come down. As you reach the bottom of the breath, the movement rolls back on the inhalation, tuning into your lumbar spine. And this slow, controlled movement is very good for our strength and mobility, as well as nice and calming. So I invite you to go through 2 more full cycles from now as you start to tilt up. You can close your eyes, listening into the language of the body and finding the edge of the exhalation to come into the last iteration now. Exhale. Pressing the very base of the spine onto the mat and then releasing the legs out. Eyes are already closed. Feet are flopping outwards, coming into your Shavasana. Heels pointing inwards, toes outwards, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Just checking that your body is nicely aligned. Making any adjustments that you need, maybe grabbing something nice and warm. And coming to close your eyes when you're fully settled and ready. And tuning into your breath, that essential rhythm of breath that bookends our classes, and in particular this class. With the intention to listen better, to listen without interference. So let us take a step back from the breath here, or should we say, let us take a vantage point back from the breath as we flow through the full automated rhythm and cycle of inhalation and exhalation, observing without interference. A bystander in this automated process. The face is soft, the cheeks are soft, the jaw relaxed. The chest is open, the limbs are warm and worked and relaxed and stretched, and our bodies are fully ready and prepared for this relaxation. And in fact, we now reach the most important time of our practice. And all this physical exertion and concentration is preparation to let go, to connect with ourselves more deeply, to listen with reverence, to not judge, to not cherry pick, to listen with respect, with keenness, with alertness, but with a sweetness, with an understanding and compassion. And so I invite you here to turn your gaze and your hearing and your senses inwards. And without forcing the process, to listen. This reverence in observation and listening is a natural state for us. So I invite you to let go all the effort, all the expectation, and to sink into your natural state of listening. Leaning into the language of the body, leaning into the silences, and listening. I invite you to gently start to move into your hands and your feet. And perhaps if you enjoy the sensation, stretching your arms above your head and taking a lovely deep long inhalation. And then in your own time, when you are ready, come up to a seated position facing forwards as we began our session together. Once you're comfortably seated, I invite you to bring your hands in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart. And to join me in the universal vibration of to join me across time and space, and let us listen to the vibrations we're all creating here together. Let's listen keenly, taking a deep breath in. As we breathe, as we listen with reverence, we are demystifying and breaking down what we perceive to be overcoming us, or what we perceive to be owning us. Our moods, states, and impulses. Through listening with reverence, we are breaking down these into energy, into knowable parts. We are seeing them like weather patterns, like clouds passing through us at any given time. This is the power of distance through observation. This is the power of respect and breath. Thank you. Namaste.